Welcome, everyone. Thanks for being here. We are going to work on posture today. This is yoga for rowers, but I think this would be good for anyone, really, in sort of our modern day life of like forward head, forward shoulders. But I also think in rowing, sometimes there's a propensity to be in a more rounded upper back, forward head, forward shoulder position. So we're going to be doing some things to work on finding more length in the spine, activating muscles that support upright posture, and stretching, opening areas that might be pulling us into forward head, forward shoulder positioning. And we're not doing anything super strenuous. And in fact, I'm going to give you some cues to dial down your effort, which you maybe don't often hear. But I feel like with posture, especially, overdoing it is detrimental and doesn't teach you how to hold yourself in a way that's efficient and sustainable. So listen for some of those cues. And even though I'm saying it's relatively gentle, there might be parts of this that don't work for you. So feel free to modify, to adapt, to substitute, to rest at any time. We are going to be using a block for several of the poses today. If you don't have the block, I'll show you a variation of how to do it without the block. The strap will mostly be necessary if you struggle to get your foot in the quad stretch, and I'll be using the blanket mostly for padding my knees and my hips in the practice today. So we're actually starting in a face down position, belly down pose to start. And I am going to stack my hands under my forehead, or I'll show you a few different variations, but stacking hands under the forehead to keep the neck in neutral and not have my nose like smashed into the ground. But you could also be turning your head to rest on one cheek here as well. And I'll be in that neutral position so that it's a little easier to hear me, but it's also more comfortable to my neck. And as always, in this practice, we are starting in some stillness. Find your breath. Noticing here in the belly down position that the floor is impeding this forward expansion of the belly and the ribs as you breathe in. But it doesn't stop you from breathing in. Your body finds another place to expand. So notice as you inhale, you can feel the back ribs expanding, the low back even expanding. As you breathe out, feeling the whole torso sink, melt to the earth. Breathing through the nose here. Begin to lengthen out the breath a bit. This is not big and effortful breathing. Just slowing it down. And in this face down position, maybe you hear that breath. Take the next few breaths, setting an intention for your practice today. Thinking of the reason that you've shown up. Whether it's to find more ease in your body, to create strength and stability, to slow down, to recover. Whatever your reason for showing up, bring this thought to the front of your mind. And breathe with intention. So I'm going to begin with a very subtle movement. And you might want to lift your head or come up, prop up on your elbows and watch me for the first one or two and join in. So we're first with stack your hands on your forehead if they aren't already, and then tuck your chin. So you're bringing your chin towards the front of your throat, lengthening the back of the neck.
Keep the chin tucked and lift the back of the head towards the ceiling. So my gaze is still down. I'm not looking forward at all. And then lower the forehead back to the stacked hands. So we tuck the chin subtly, slightly, and lift the back of the head towards the ceiling without pushing with the arms. And then lower back down. We're going to do a few more. So it's slight chin tuck. Inhale, lift the back of the head towards the ceiling. Exhale, lower. A few more. So you tuck, lift, and then release down. So don't worry about lifting high. This is really more about keeping that chin tucked. And although you might feel this mostly working muscles from the base of the skull to mid and upper back, we're also working deep front neck muscles, like stuff behind your throat, behind your trachea, your esophagus. And then lowering that head back down. It might feel good here just to bend the knees, rock the legs side to side, relaxing here through the lower back. So we're going to build a little bit on that same movement, different arm position. So we'll bring the arms out to the sides here, elbows or hands underneath the shoulders, elbows pointing towards the ceiling. I'm up on tented fingers. Start with the forehead down on the ground. So there's already a slight chin tuck. And then as I did before, lift the back of the head towards the ceiling. And then when you can't go anymore, you're going to bring your gaze slightly forward. And then we're kind of laying the chest and then the head back down. Bring the forehead to the floor. So I lift the back of the head, lift the chest, and then gaze comes forward a little bit. Lower the chest, and then lower the head. Inhale, lift the chest, and then lift the head. Exhale, lower the chest, and then lower the head. So there's a little bit of a wave-like motion here. Again, don't worry about lifting high. Try not to push too much with the hands. I have them out here to the sides so that I'm using more upper back and deep neck muscles here. One more. All right, bring the hands under the shoulders, press yourself up to hands and knees. Maybe bring the hips back towards the heels or hips over the knees here, just for a brief child's or puppy pose. Maybe a little wag of the tail here or shift side to side. And we'll find our way here to hands and knees. We'll be weight bearing on the knees for the next several poses, so feel free to pad them here. And remember your options for hand position could be flat hand or loose fist if that's easier on your palms, or on your forearms here, or easier on your wrists, or on your forearms with the elbows under shoulders on the ground or on blocks. And we're stepping one leg across to the other side. Tuck those toes under and turn, option to turn to look around the shoulder to see the foot, or just turn to look at that hand. And we'll bring the knee back down. We'll do the other side. Inhale, stretch it across, opening through that side body, and lower the knee back down under its hip. Inhale, cross over, look towards the foot or the hand. Exhale, knee down. Alternating sides here. And you might start to press out through the heel. So you start to stretch the calf a little bit in this side body opening movement. And we'll do one more. Lowering that knee back down. This time, walk your knees out a little wider than hip distance. And we're going to bring one hand behind the head. Rotate that elbow up towards the ceiling. So you're looking towards the side. And then we bring that elbow over towards the opposite wrist. You could bend the supporting elbow here. We open up again. Inhale, elbow up. Look towards the side. Exhale, cross it over. Couple more here. This could be an area of real stiffness and tightness in that mid and upper back, or maybe it's the shoulder. So don't try to force it. We're just coaxing a little bit more freedom of movement here, as opposed to trying to push too hard. Lower that hand back down, and then the other side. Inhale, elbow up. looking towards the side of the room. Exhale, elbow towards the opposite wrist. Let's do 3 more. The hand on the back of the head is not pushing the head forward. In fact, as you bring that elbow up towards the ceiling, can you push your head back a little bit? 1 more. We'll lower the hand back down and walk the knees underneath the hips again. Stretch one foot back. You're warming up calf, ankle, toes, toe rocking movement. So you're shifting forward slightly just by bending those toes, and then you're shifting back by pressing through the heel. Inhale, shift forward, toes bending. Exhale, shift back, stretching through the calf. Forward and back here a few times. Just remember that if you've got some stiffness in the ankle and certainly in that big toe, your movements here might be a little smaller. And you could stay with this. This is the gentler version of this and less hand shoulder pressure. But if you'd like a little more calf stretch, as you press the heel back, push into the hands and hips up, that one heel releases down towards the floor for like a half a down dog, and lower the knee, shifting forward, toes bend. So it's just adding that half down dog here optionally for a little bit more calf stretch and a little more ankle range of motion. Lower both knees here, switching sides. Start with that toe rocking movement. And this is a good way to evaluate. How is the toe doing, that big toe? How does my calf feel? Is there some stiffness in the ankle? Does it feel blocked? And then decide, do I want to stay with this? Would this serve me better than a bigger stretch or that half down dog? Push the heel back, press the hips up, heel towards the floor, lower down. Let's do a couple more. Lowering that knee back down. And then pause here. So I like that. I like doing that to set us up for downward facing dog, which is a great calf stretch, a great ankle mobilization exercise, but it can be a challenging one. So you could always stay with that toe rocking. You could do a puppy, which is a kneeling down dog, knees over hips, and kind of stretch and lengthen this way, or even hands under forehead, or that bigger, stretchier position of down dog, hands forward of shoulders a bit. Lift the hips up and back. Find that length in the spine, which might mean bending the knees a little bit more. Let the head relax between the upper arms. Continue with that sort of toe rocking, calf stretching movement of pedaling the feet. Or maybe you rise up on the tiptoes, release the heels. Or maybe you shift to plank, exhale back to down dog. That first down dog, often a little bit surprising, challenging. So sometimes adding that mobility as opposed to the static hold makes it more comfortable and more tolerable to be here. Settle into some stillness here. Looking forward, we're going to step the left foot between the hands. And you might not get there in the first go round. Right knee could lower, left hand helping this foot come forward here. And we are going to use the 2 blocks here under the hands. If you don't have them, you could be up on fingertips here. And allow the hips to sink forward, pressing into the hands a little bit so the spine is long. And I'll start with the knee down, but there's an option to do it with the knee up. So if you want to go there first, you can. So this is a similar motion to what we were doing in that belly down position. So I'm going to let my head droop down towards the floor, like it's a wilted flower. And then I'm going to give a slight chin tuck, lift the back of the head towards the ceiling. And then when I can't go any further, I'm going to start to lift the chin and look forward. So let the head droop down, wilted flower, slight chin tuck, lift the back of the head, and then look forward subtly. Good. So you could do a couple more here. You could stay with the back knee down, or you could lift it up. All right, keep that neck lengthened. Lower the back knee if you lifted it. And we're going to take one of the blocks with us. So lift the torso. You could bring the block here on the front of the thigh. If you don't have that block, you're going to have hands on the front of the thigh. I'm going to use the block here to help me find more length in my spine. So I'm pressing my hands into the block so I can create more space in my waist. See how you can press down and reach the crown of the head towards the ceiling here. Tailbone lengthen down towards the earth. And then we'll take the block, that larger side, the flatter side, is going to go behind the head, or it could be interlaced fingers behind the head. So it's that subtle chin tuck. So I'm not going to look down. I'm going to bring the chin towards my throat, gently press the back of the head into the block. Now, if you went there at 100% and you sort of like kind of kinked your airway a little bit, change your voice, can you release a little bit? Can you make that effort like 50% instead of 100? And then elbows back a little bit. I'm going to turn so you can see me from the back. Can you release the muscles that run between the neck and shoulders? Everything else stays the same, but I let those drop away. We're going to see that again a little later in different poses. We'll release this here. Bring the hands down around the front foot. Step this back into a down dog. Take a moment here, maybe pedal the feet, shake the head. I'm looking forward. Right foot between the hands, helping it there. You know where we're going. No rush. Set it up in a good place for you. Blocks under the hands or up on the fingertips. You could be back knee down or up. And we're going to let the head droop down, sort of wilted flower style. Chin towards the throat. Lift the back of the head towards the ceiling. And then bring the gaze forward so the chin comes away from the throat a little bit. Head drooping down. Chin tuck. Back of the head up. Look forward. Keep going. You could keep the back knee down, or you could lift it up and do the same thing. Working on muscles that get you out of forward head position. All right, we're going to lower the back knee and lift yourself up. We're going to take one block, bring it on the front of the thigh, and we're pressing down into the block into the thigh to reach the top of the head up towards the ceiling. Feel that length you created in your waist here. Keep that and block behind you or interlace fingers behind the head. Slight chin tuck. Push the back of the head back slightly into that block. So feel that resistance of the block or the hands. Maybe you can open the elbows a little wider, and then can you release the shoulders away from the ears so the neck feels longer? Breathe. So notice here, we're stacking the ears over the shoulders over the hips over that one knee. So there's a stacked alignment, this architectural alignment that is actually more efficient to hold than forward, head being forward of your center of gravity. We'll release this here. Hands come down, or maybe the blocks are there to assist in the transition. Back knee up, step the back foot to the front foot. We're finding a forward fold. Maybe you'd like those blocks here into the hands. Options for the ragdoll. Knees a little bent, upper body draped over lower body. Hands on the block or the floor or holding elbows. Or this position protective of the spine, the hamstrings. It's feet wide, butt back, forearms on your thighs. So this doesn't allow for compression here through the spine or the discs. Or super big stretch in the hamstrings. Either pose, you might sway a little bit here, side to side, forward, back. This one's also less of an inversion, so if you've just eaten something, sometimes that forward fold is a little reflexy. So another options here for that reason. We'll bring this weight shift back to center, bend the knees, look forward, inhale, strong legs, rise up to stand, reaching up.
And then exhale, hands to prayer here at your heart. We're going to let that go. Shake out your wrists, roll the shoulders here. Moving that blanket out of the way if you had it there. We're doing a little cat-cow movement from standing. So you could stand with your feet hip distance or shoulder distance wide, or sometimes feels a little bit more stable, so you could be more here. And then we're going to sit back, so bending the knees and the hips, but instead of holding chair or that thunderbolt pose, we're going to have some support here by the hands. So lower body stays here, arms basically stay here as we round and arch the back. So cat pose, we tuck the tailbone, round the back, tuck the chin. Cow pose, we lift the tailbone up, belly down, chest forward. Breath, exhale. Round through the back, tuck the tailbone, the chin. Inhale, tip the tailbone back, chest forward. Back and forth a few more times. This is a good movement break, right? If you have a standing desk, or if you stand up from your desk, or if it's not appropriate to get down on the ground, at the dock, you could do a little bit of this for warm up. And then drop your tailbone down, just round the spine up to stand. Head, the last thing to come up. Roll your shoulders back and down at the top of that movement. Maybe take that back and down of the shoulders one more time. All right, come on up to the front of the mat and grab your block. So we're going to be doing that similar type of movement here with the block behind the head. And remember, if you don't have the block, it can be hands behind the head, or if that feels more comfortable for whatever reason, that is fine as well. So we're going to take a medium to big step back with this left foot for warrior one position. So warrior one, our hips are squared to the front. And if you line your heels up, but then try to square your hips to the front, you're going to twist through your SI joint, the lumbar spine, which is not designed for that. So make a little space between your feet. Back foot is turned out to 10 o'clock-ish. Tailbone down, top of the head up. And then just for that feedback piece of it, we're going to bring the block or interlace fingers behind the head. Slight chin tuck, push the head back just a little bit. Elbows back if possible. Relax those shoulders away from the ears. Breathe. So it's just a very subtle 50% effort of pushing the back of the head back here into that block, into the hands. Keep the tailbone lengthening towards the earth. So see if you can keep that head back in that position. Bring the block out from behind you, and then we bring it back behind our hips. And now if you can, if your shoulders allow, you're going to bring the block behind and change hands, and then bring both arms out to the side, and then bring it behind, changing hands. Inhale out. Again, behind, exhale. Inhale. If you don't have a block or you can't reach, you're going to pretend you're switching it, right? And notice when you got your hands back to the head, go forward. Subtle chin tuck, back of the head back. Opening through the chest, starting to strengthen through that upper back here to get you out of forward shoulder position. All right, we'll release this here. Roll the shoulders back and down, straighten the front leg. Step the back foot in just a little bit closer here. You could keep holding onto the block or let it come down here in front of you. Hands on the hips, both knees straight, hands on the hips. Get tall. Tailbone towards the earth, top of the head towards the sky. 50% effort, so we're not clenched in here, but we're finding an ease to the lengthening. And then maybe you take a little arch from behind the heart, bring the gaze up, open the throat a little. Start to hinge forward from your hips. Pause before the back begins to round, which is going to be different for all of us. So if you're tight, you'll be up a little bit more. If your hamstrings are more flexible, you might be closer to parallel to the earth. Firm the belly, slight chin tuck. Reach the hands towards the back of the room. Palms face inward.
Actively reach with your hands so the neck feels long. Take a breath or two here. Strengthening these muscles all along the spine, deep, close to the spine. These ones really help keep you upright all day. You could stay here holding more breathing, or you could fold over, bringing the hands to the block or both blocks here. You might be able to fold over, but again, if you are working with hamstring tightness, if you're working with herniated disc or low bone density, you want to keep that spine long and compression out of the vertebrae. Make a subtle adjustment here, pulling this front hip back a little bit. That right hip pulls back just to level out the pelvis. We'll step the back foot to the front foot. Bend both knees, rise up to stand. Might feel good to reach up or just roll the shoulders back and down. Let the arms come down, swing them out a little bit. So we'll do this on the other side, finding a block here. Right foot back in that warrior one. Remember, you've left a little space between your feet, like you are straddling a 2x4 here, or maybe even wider, depending on your hip width. Tailbone down, top of the head reaching up. We'll bring the block behind the head or interlaced fingers there. Subtle chin tuck. Subtle press of the back of the head into the block. If it's available, elbows back. Can you release the muscles that run between the neck and shoulders? And if you're like, tucked, push everything at 100%, decrease your effort to 50%. Breathe. Find more ease in upright posture. Keeping that length through the spine, we'll take the block from behind the head, and then we reach behind our hips. If you have the block, or if you can reach, transfer it to the other hand and reach the arms out. So we exhale, switch hands with the block, inhale, bring it out. Now notice when you reach back behind you, do your shoulders go forward and that head goes forward and give you a little bit of a hunch? If that's the case, I'd rather you just pretend and reach as far as you can without actually transferring the block, but allows you to keep that chest open and the head over the shoulders as opposed to jutting forward. We'll bring the hands out here and straighten the front knee, step the back foot in. You could put that block down at the front of your mat. Hands on the hips, find more length, tailbone down, top of the head up. 50% effort here. Relax the shoulders. On your inhale, you could take a little arch from behind the heart as opposed to the low back. Gaze up a little. Exhale, hinging forward from your hips. Pause before the back begins to round. And then firm your belly slightly. Chin tuck. We're going to reach the hands back in this kind of shot out of the cannon position. Palms face each other, thumbs down. Actively reach back so you feel your neck get long and the shoulder blades firm on the back ribs. Take another breath or two here as we strengthen the core, the hamstrings, and all these muscles here along the spine and some around the shoulder blades. You could stay or fold over here. This is called pyramid pose. So it could be that you're keeping that spine long, or maybe you're folding over that leg. If you fold it over, maybe shake the head out. If you've lengthened that spine, make space between the ears and shoulders. Bend the front knee, step the back foot to the front. Bend both knees, inhale, rise up. Maybe reach up or roll those shoulders back and down here at the top of that movement. We are not quite done with the block here. We're going to work on balance at the same time we work on posture, and they actually have quite a bit to do with each other. So
as I was talking before, often a sort of relaxed posture might be a forward tilt of the pelvis, a kind of rounding of the upper back, a forward head position. This is pretty exaggerated. But so you might notice the head being forward of the shoulders, and this is actually creates more effort at the upper back to be able to hold the weight of the head up. If we can stack the head over the shoulders, shoulders over the hips, hips over the feet, there's actually less muscular effort to be here. So we're going to try again with the block to give us the feedback. You might step off your mat. You might be close to the wall to have a hand here on it. We're bringing one foot forward, spread those toes, placing them in that spread out position. Shift your weight onto it. And then let's all start here with the other knee bent and the toes down. And place a block here on your thigh, like just below the hip. And we're pressing that block into the hand to find more length in the waist. So keep that length in the waist and bring the block or interlace fingers behind the head. So here it is again. You should be familiar at this point. Subtle chin tuck, back of the head into the block, elbows back, shoulders or muscles between shoulders and ears relaxing. Focus your gaze on the spot here, straight ahead. We're already balancing. You could stay with that. You could play with lifting those toes up, or maybe you lift that knee up. Keep the head gently pushing back. If you're feeling okay with this balance, you could push the leg back and then bring it forward. Exhale to push the leg back. Inhale to bring it forward. Relax the shoulders away from the ears. Keep the length in the whole spine. All right, let it go. Let the arms go. Shake it out. Roll it out. Other side. Bring that foot forward. Spread the toes. Place them down, spread out. Weight onto it. Tiptoe of the other side so that knee is bent. Block is here just on the top of the thigh. Press your hands into it to find more length in the waist. Block behind or interlace fingers. Slight chin tuck, back of the head back. Elbows back if possible. Release the stress between neck and shoulders. Focusing the gaze on the spot straight ahead. Stay with this or play with lifting that foot, knowing you could always put it back down. You could add movement to this lifted leg for a little more challenge. You exhale, push the leg back. Inhale, bring the knee forward. I'm going to do 3 more. Now, if you tried that movement and it threw you off, like you kind of had to put your foot back down or reach out to the wall, come back into some stillness and focus on being steady there. Relax those muscles between the ears and shoulders. They want to creep up. All right, lower the foot. Get rid of that block. We are done with that dang block for a while. So you can put it off to the side, roll those shoulders. So you might be feeling some fatigue here, back in the neck, the upper back here. We're going to get a little bit of a rest, so no worries. Front of the mat, inhale, get tall, reach up, maybe look up between the hands. Exhale, find your forward fold. Could be that forearms to the thighs or hands toward the floor. Maybe you shake your head out, or if you're in that sitting back, just a gentle rotation of that long neck. Bend the knees enough to bring the hands to the floor. Walk your feet back into a downward facing dog. Hips up and back. Head relaxed between the upper arms. Can you release that area between the neck and shoulders? Lower both knees. Untuck your toes. We're going to find child's or puppy pose. Hips over heels for child's. Forehead down. Hips over knees for puppy. Puppy keeps that compression out of the spine, so it might be a safer, more comfortable position for you. Instead of reaching forward here, stack your hands under your forehead and have your weight shifted a little more towards your hips than they are towards your upper body. Take a few breaths here. This is the position that can turn off, can release the tension in the muscles between neck and shoulders, this arm position here. So take a few breaths, feel what that is like
when those muscles can let go. Come back to your intention for the practice. I'm going to have you make your way onto your side. Let's all start on the right side because we're going to do a little sequence from here. And I think if we're on the same side, it's a little bit easier. You might be using a folded blanket under your head just as a pillow, or this could even be a block here for our purposes, or that bottom arm to support the head. So quad stretch here, you might want your strap. We're going to straighten the bottom leg. So the right leg is straight. The top knee is bent here, inner knee, inner calf resting on the floor, or a yoga block. This top leg gets to rest. Doesn't have to do anything right now. It's the bottom leg. We're going to bend the knee, reach back with the top hand to find the foot or the ankle, or this might be a good place to loop the strap around the ankle here. Use that breath to relax a little bit more, like to let go of some tension that you might be holding that doesn't serve you in this spot. This is a variation of a quad stretch. If you have another one that works better for you, feel free. This is one of my favorites because it's hard to cheat on the quad stretch. And by cheat, I mean the knee going out away from midline or the thigh going forward, not getting all four quads to lengthen and open. We're going to let that foot go. Pause here in this sideline position. So we're coming into a twist. My lower body is going to stay relatively in the same position. This top leg might slide and move with me, so I'm going to move the block out for now. Taking this top elbow and pull it behind you and let your chest and gaze rotate up towards the ceiling. So maybe that elbow comes down to the floor, maybe not. Maybe you straighten that arm out to bring the elbow down to the floor. If it's feeling really intense, this is a nice place to put the block underneath that outer arm, outer upper arm. And or you could put a block here underneath that inner knee. So this inner knee is not going to stay nailed down towards the floor. It might come up, pop away from the floor. Chest and gaze up towards the ceiling. Maybe keeping that elbow bent, or even a sort of half cactus arm position here. Keeping that breath, the belly, ribs twisted here, which sometimes makes you have to work just a little bit harder for the breath because these diaphragm attachments are in a little bit of a stretch. The muscles that run between the ribs that also help with breathing are in a little bit of a stretch. We'll roll onto our side again, and then we're going to do this on the other side. So now roll over. You're lying on your left side, starting in a fetal position, supporting the head, maybe folded blanket or arm or both. Top knee and shin come forward. Knee is bent, inner knee, inner calf resting on the ground or a yoga block. Bottom thigh is back, and then you bend the knee, reach back with the hand, top hand for the foot or ankle, or use a loop of the strap to hold that position. Once you're here, the work is done. So if you find yourself clenching, working, what can you let go of? Sometimes that right leg sliding away from you a little bit. Sometimes repositioning the head so you don't feel like you're having to hold the weight of your head here.
So we're just letting go of the foot, staying in the sideline for a moment. And then we're going to take this top arm, the right elbow, pull it back behind you. Bring that chest and gaze up towards the ceiling. That right knee is likely going to pop away from the floor here. Maybe change the head support. You could keep that elbow bent. You could bring it into a cactus position, which might be a lot of chest or shoulder stretch. You could straighten that arm. You can always bring a block underneath it. Or having a block underneath that inner right knee can also allow you a little bit more ease here in this position. So again, once you're here, most of the work is done, but you might have to be working a little bit for the breath, which is not a bad thing. This is actually that, a little bit of resistance to the inhale, strengthening to the diaphragm. We're going to roll onto our sides again and eventually coming onto the belly. We're getting ready for some prone or belly down back bends. I'm going to use my blanket to pad my pubic and hip bones. I'm unfolding it so it's a thin layer of blanket here as opposed to a big lump underneath. If you have arthritis in the low back and you tend to spasm in the lower back, you might turn over and do bridge pose instead, which is another variation of a back bend. For this locus pose, we're going to have the arms down by the sides, palms facing up. You could decide. Sometimes I feel more comfortable with my feet a little wider, like yoga mat distance, or even slightly wider than that. And that often gives me more room to lengthen the tailbone towards my feet. Pubic bone pressing into the floor so the low belly engages, keeping that. Inhale, lift the head and chest. So we're not keeping that chin tuck here. Lift the arms up and actively reach them towards your feet so the neck feels long. Staying there or maybe raising the legs too. And then we lower down. Let's do some reps instead of holding. Tailbone towards feet. Inhale, lift head, chest, arms. Reach with the hands, maybe legs lift too. Exhale, lower. So this is a lot of strengthening the back body, like from the base of the skull down to the toes. Getting you out of forward head, forward shoulder position, opening up the front of the body, strengthening the back of the body, these muscles that keep you upright, that keep you erect. Exhale, lower down, bring the hands forward to rest the head. Release here by shaking, wiggling the hips. And then arm position, helpful for strengthening muscles that pull the shoulders away from that forward shoulder, away from the ears towards shoulder position. I'm going to do a second locus pose, different arm variation, similar type of strengthening here. So this one, I start with my arms forward in the sort of Superman pose. It's the same prep of the core to protect the lumbar spine, tailbone towards feet, pubic bone pressing into the floor. And then we're lifting the head and chest, but instead of raising our arms here in that Superman position, we're pulling the elbows back, hands and elbows off the floor, a little shoulder blade squeeze. Maybe the leg lift here, gaze is down and forward, as opposed to hyperextended just forward. And then we lower, reach it into Superman again. Tailbone towards feet, inhale, lift, pull the elbows back. Maybe legs lift, exhale, lower, reach forward. Two more. Don't worry about lifting high. Any amount of lifting here is going to be work. Exhale, lower down, hands under forehead or turn the head. Bend the knees, rock the legs side to side. Windshield wiper motion here. So we've been doing a lot of work for some of these upper back muscles here. So let's give them a little bit of a break. We are going to relax those muscles. So we're going to slacken those muscles between the shoulder blades. I'm using my 2 yoga blocks for this, but it could be 2 rolled blankets, 2
folded up pillows. I'm still in that belly down position, placing those props under the front of my shoulders. Snuggled in close to the ribs. Their job is to push my shoulder blades towards my spine, passively, meaning I'm not having to work to pull them towards each other. Arms could be out to the sides here, kind of W or T position, or down by your side, similar to that first locus pose position. You could be resting the cheek on the ground. You could be putting a folded blanket on your forehead here to keep that neutral spine position at the neck. If this position doesn't work for you, you find it hard to breathe, you just can't relax into it, coming onto your back with that rolled blanket under the head and spine is another way to do this. For me, I need a little bit more, so I'm putting my blocks up on the medium side to get more push of my shoulder blades towards the spine. Once you're here, again, the job is done. You're actually using that breath to just soften. Soften the upper back, the neck, the shoulders, that whole torso melting towards the floor on the exhale. And if you're feeling much here at the upper back, maybe it's relief or a vague feeling of warmth. So by relaxing the muscles, we're actually increasing the blood flow to that area. For me and my body, and I know a lot of my physical therapy clients, this is a real area of tension, of achiness, and sometimes even sharp pain. And a lot of it has to do with forward shoulder position. Forward shoulder position actually stretches these muscles out. When muscles stay stretched over a long period of time, the tension on them decreases the blood flow. And one of the first signs of decreased blood flow to any tissue in the body is ache, burning, fatigue. If it goes on long enough, it turns into pain. It can even be sharp pain. Take another couple breaths here. So one of my go-to positions when I feel that upper back achiness, fatigue, I'm going to take those props out from underneath, roll onto my back. Using my block again for supported bridge. And it could be a rolled up blanket, it could be a foam roller, lifting the hips and sliding this prop underneath your sacrum. So this area above the fleshy part of the butt, but below the low back. Make any adjustments you need to here. I'm on the shorter side of the block, and partly that is so that this doesn't feel so intense. And the other reason is you want the larger surface area of the block under your sacrum so that there's not as much pressure there. We're dispersing the pressure over a larger surface area. Can you relax the buttocks and the muscles of the low back? We've been working them a lot. So it might take a moment to convince them to relax, to let go. Might feel really good. This is feeling good to me here. So one option is just to keep the feet down and let this mild inversion, hips higher than the shoulders, create more space between the lumbar spine vertebrae here. And that could feel like a really good release, relief happening there. Or this legs up position. You pull the knees in and feet up towards the ceiling. And sometimes I realize when I do that, my block isn't quite in the right spot. So you might need to readjust it. And instead of straightening your knees all the way, unless you're super flexible, you probably can, bend the knees a little bit, bring the thighs slightly in closer towards you so there's less effort to hold the legs up, less hip flexor, less quadricep work here. And then do some movements here with your feet, circling them, circling the ankles, maybe point and flex. Maybe movements a little bigger in the legs, pull the knee in, reach the other heel up, back and forth, and you can make up movements here. So this is really just about contract release of muscles in the legs, which along with this inversion, this gravitational pull, um, assist to the veins, moving blood from the periphery of the body back up into the core. The muscle pump action of contract release helps to move that venous fluid as well as lymphatic fluid. So if you've had a workout today or legs just feel fatigued and tired, that movement can feel good. All right, we'll pull the knees in, lower both feet down to the ground, lifting the hips, taking that prop out from underneath here. Hips come down and we're crossing one thigh over the other, pulling legs in towards you, holding shins or ankles or backs of thighs. The alternate is the ankle over knee stretch here. So you can find which one works for you. And if those arms are working to hold the position, relax the shoulders, relax the neck, the jaw muscles here. Feeling how the earth is now supporting that length in the spine. Meaning we're not having to use those postural muscles here to keep the head in line with the shoulders, in line with the hips. So sometimes when we've had a long day or we're fatigued, it's just really hard to hold good posture because our muscles are tired. If you can, I know often it's not possible when you're at work or you're a caregiver or for whatever reason, you can't lie down in the middle of the grocery store. But when you start to feel that way, letting your spine rest, letting the earth support you, spine be parallel to the earth instead of perpendicular to it, can give you a lot of relief and rest, even if it's just a few minutes and you get back up again. We'll switch sides. Might be different on this side. You might need to make different accommodations. Relax the shoulders, the neck, the jaw. Maybe gently turn that head side to side if you feel the neck starting to tighten up again. Letting those legs go. Decide if there's something you'd like to do before Shavasana. Different hip stretch, a different twist than what we did earlier in the practice, a more inverted version, shoulder stand or headstand. And thinking about how you'd like to set yourself up for Shavasana. We've used a lot of postural upper back muscles, so sometimes having that roll underneath the spine, arms opening up is relieving to the upper back. Or if you're feeling a lot in your neck, maybe you put a roll under the back of your neck. I'm using my yoga blanket here, making a small little roll to go under the back of my neck. But you also have legs up on the chair, legs up the wall, legs outstretched. Right? Just thinking about what would feel good to your body, what would actually help you to relax a little bit more, rest a little bit more over the next few minutes. Wherever you've landed here, you could close your eyes, but you don't have to. Sometimes closing the eyes feels like more effort or just doesn't feel right. Taking an inhale through the nose, open the mouth, and just let out a sigh. And do that again. Let the breath go. We're no longer thinking about where is our head, what muscles are activating, what muscles to relax or release or let go of. We are letting our spine be supported by the earth. The shoulders, the legs, the back of the head supported by the earth. So much support that your body recognizes that it doesn't have to hold on. Muscular tension is not the only thing holding you together. The earth is supporting you, and you're allowing that support. Rest in this support for the next few minutes. Remember, you could rest here longer. This is feeling beneficial, therapeutic. But if you're ready to move on, start to deepen your breath. Wiggle your fingers or toes. Circle the wrists, the ankles. Maybe some bigger movements in the body. If a big stretch would feel good, arms overhead, legs out. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, let it go. We'll bend the knees and roll to your side. Pausing for a moment here if you can. Appreciating your body, your breath, your health, and your yoga practice. Pressing up to a seated position. Thank you all for being here, sharing your practice and energy. The light in me honors the light in each of you. Namaste. Thank you.